This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media outlets, X-Zone Radio TV, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Here's the question. What human right destroys so many children? Well, my guest this hour is a world traveler, renowned artist, and humanitarian, and he says corrupted spirituality has tragic results. My guest this hour is Zulfigar Rashid, and he's experienced the cultures and traditions on nearly every continent on this beautiful planet of ours. His travels have been immeasurably educational, and the expression of humanity in each country carries tremendous beauty, from Sao Paulo to Beijing to Madrid and beyond. Sadly, various destinations worldwide have a often terrible common denominator, and this is it: a disgusting abuse of children, often at the hands of devoutly religious adults. Wow. Joining me now is my guest this hour, Zulfigar Rashid. And Zulfigar, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you very much, Rob. I'm very glad to be here.
Tell me, Zulfigar, what possessed you to travel around the world in the first place? It's something that everybody would love to do, but very few actually do. What was your inspiration?
I have to come clean here. I do, like everybody, as you said, very much like to travel. There's many exciting places and interesting places in this beautiful planet of ours, as you said. I have been lucky enough to be working with a company in a role where I get to travel around the world. So that has been the primary opportunity that I've been given, thankfully.
And you say that corrupted spirituality has tragic results and is destroying so many children. Why do you think this is? Well,
so a little bit of my background. I was born in Pakistan and lived there for the first 20 years of my life. And then afterwards, I've had, again, the opportunity to go to many different places. And that has been the common theme if you look at the major religions around the world. At the core, at the fundamental level, all the religions, I sincerely believe, are good and are there for the betterment of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But you get these situations across all religions, across all countries, where some people who get corrupted with the power, with that comes with the positions that they may hold,
right,
and they use it to exploit other people for their own advantage. And this is truly independent of religion and independent of locale.
Mm-hmm. But I always thought, it was my belief, and it still is my belief, that religion, one of their major tenets is to protect children. And in fact, in Christianity, Christ said, "Suffer little children to come unto me." And then in school, the hymns that are children orientated during the religious ceremonies in the Christian church, it's children are very front and center. So I find it very hard to understand why any religion would be abusive towards children.
You raise an excellent point, and I fully agree with you. I think Christianity, Islam, any religion, children and women, everybody is to be protected, but especially children.
Sure.
And I think this is where we need to make a distinction between the religion and the people that represent religion.
You mean like in the Catholic Church when there's so many priests that have abused so many children?
Exactly. That's exactly the point.
Right.
Religion by itself is absolutely, I think, essential, and I truly believe that it improves people's life. It gives us something that's bigger than ourselves to look to. But the other side of this is that after all, we are human. There are good people and there are bad people. And what you see happening is that people who want to exploit and abuse this, they do so.
Right. All right. You and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back. X-Zone Nation. Our guest this hour is Zulfigar Rashid, and we're asking the question, what human right destroys so many children? According to my author, my guest, who is a world traveler, renowned artist, and humanitarian, he says corrupted spirituality. That's the answer. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a disease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled lite.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Welcome back, everyone. My guest this hour is Zulfigar Rashid. He is the author of The Rat Boys of, and I don't know if I'm saying this correct, and I apologize, Karalabad?
Yes, it is The Rat Boys of Karalabad.
Okay. And your book explores one particularly heinous form of child abuse in the name of religion. And I was wondering if you could tell us about that.
Yes. So the book talks about rat boys.
Mm-hmm.
And rat boys, to give you some context to it, is you see these children in Southeast Asia, in Pakistan. I've seen them quite a bit. What happens is that when the children are very young,
Yes.
they are left at shrines. And what the shrines do is, in some cases, they bind the heads and in some cases also the limbs of these children with metal or with leather.
Oh, God.
So, and they stay bound in that apparatus for a year, 2 years, 3 years, so that as they grow, the heads don't grow. There is no room for growth. And the arm, for example, will be a lifeless twig. And why do they do that? They do that so that when these children grow up and they are deformed, and you can try to picture this thing where the body of a normal, let's say, 10-year-old,
Right.
but the face, the head is much smaller, so the eyes are normal, but they are kind of pulled back, and the nose is normal, but much larger in proportion to the head. The lips are kind of pulled back, the ears are pulled back. It's a very, I hate to say the word grotesque, disfiguration of a normal child.
Right.
And the reason this is done is so that when these children go out and beg for money, they get more money.
And what happens to the money that the children beg for?
Well, I'm sure that you have already guessed. Of course, the
Oh, I
shrine.
have.
So, yes. So the money, none of this is for the benefit of the children, of that particular child.
Now, why does the government in these countries allow this to happen? How come the children aren't protected?
So there are, as you could imagine, there are many ordinances and laws and regulations that are there to protect the children, but these things usually happen in very rural and remote areas of the country. And what I'm happy to say is that the incidence of this is decreasing quite a bit over the last few years, that there has been a lot of awareness.
Right.
And there are programs. You know, at the root of this thing is this organized system of beggary that exists in some of these countries. And that is what the government is actively working on, has been actively working on. And if you follow the news from that part of the world, there are more and more arrests that are being made in this area. But it still exists. It's much less than before, but even the fact that there's even one more of these rat children being produced is, to me, an abomination that needs to be stopped.
What was your inspiration for writing this book?
There were a couple of things that drove me. One is just the memories and the recollections of a rat boy and how that is formed. And I did a lot of research,
Right.
and that's when I found the connection to the religion and how the religion is really corrupted by people to exploit the weak and the ones that can be exploited. And that was the inspiration to bring light to this on how there is these actions that are happening. There's multiple, things that are resulting from this. There are these children that are being exploited, first and foremost.
Right.
Secondly, religion is really being distorted and given a face that it does not deserve, that has nothing to do with religion.
Is it just one religion, or are there a number of religions that are abusing the children on purpose, deforming them in order to get more from the people that they beg from, so that the the organization can get more money? Is it just one religion, or are there a number of religions involved in this scam and this horrific abuse?
Yeah, I would say that there are multiple religions. These kind of things are, I would say, more concentrated in the third world countries, but there are some countries, even in Europe, where children are disfigured in different ways, not necessarily this particular way, but in different ways where, arms are broken or legs are broken or just other disfigurations that you can't even, you have difficulty even speaking about because it's relating to children. It's, again, religion agnostic because it's people who do that want to exploit whatever power they have for their own purposes to get some more money, essentially.
I was wondering if you could share with my listeners around the world the story of the 10-year-old girl who was recently forced by her much older brother, by the way, a local Taliban commander, to wear a suicide bomber vest.
This is just, it breaks your heart.
I was reading this. Now, I'm a dad. I've got 6 children. Yes. I've got 7 grandchildren, an 8th on the way. And I'm reading the information that Rich was kind enough to send us in preparation for our interview today. And I was saying, you've got to be kidding. How could...
Yes, I mean, look, I saw a father. I have 3 children,
right.
And I just could not comprehend that somebody who, the older brother of this girl was old enough to essentially be her father. How could somebody with that kind of a relationship send somebody so dear, that should be so dear to them, to die? I cannot comprehend it.
I can't, and mind you, I've had guests on the show over the years who are believers in a theology where there is a God and they believe in the Bible. And when you look at the premise of which Christianity, for example, was founded, you've got God, the Creator, the Father. Now, you're a father, I'm a father. I've got friends who are fathers, and they would never think of doing to their children what God, the Creator, has done to His children throughout history. So is God a bad example of what a good father should be? Because if God could kill all the people in Sodom and Gomorrah, if God could kill everybody on earth except Noah and his family, if God could kill all the Egyptians, in the story of Moses going to the Promised Land, when the sea opened and Moses crossed the sea with his followers, with the children of Israel, and when the Egyptians followed, God closed the sea, and all the Egyptians who were following them died. So is this a reason why some people actually believe it's all right to be abusive to children? Because throughout history in the Bible, God has been very abusive towards His children.
Well, you make a good point. But I think that could be a very interesting discussion as well. I think that there is, to answer that particular question very briefly, I think that my view, and this is again my perspective on this particular topic, is that there is an element of discipline.
Yes.
Right. And I think that at some point there is a discipline that, different ways we discipline our children also.
I agree.
And it's usually commensurate with the mistake or the problem that was created.
Sure.
And with God, you're talking on a different scale. So we can't really, I would say, I cannot certainly put myself in that kind of a mindset.
But once again, one of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill. And how many people were killed in the Old Testament? By God.
You're right.
So anyway, I'm just trying to understand if this is some of the logic that these mentally unbalanced people are trying to justify their actions with. There has to be something in their head that's not right. Because no matter what my kids did, I would never ever kill them. I would never send them anywhere with a vest that is full of bombs, knowing that my child was going on a suicide mission. God, what kind of moron, kind of monster would do that?
Look, we couldn't agree more
Yeah.
on this. I personally think this particular case of things like this, which I will describe here in a moment, they really, in my view, have nothing to do with religion. This
Yeah.
is just a mentally unbalanced person
Uh-huh.
that obviously does not have any regard for life except maybe their own, because if they were that much devoted, maybe this guy should have put the vest on himself and gone to blow up.
Exactly. But what kind of person goes out and puts a vest on that's going to kill himself and other people? Anyway, like
Yeah.
you said, that's for another discussion some other time.
Yeah. So in this case, this guy put the vest on his 10-year-old sister, sent her out, and the idea was that she would go out to a police station and in the morning and hide in the police station at night, so that in the morning, when the police station is fully populated, all the officers are there and everything, she would blow herself up and most of the police officers along with herself. The fortunate thing is that as she was crossing the river at night, the water was freezing cold, and the poor girl, of course, started to scream. The same policeman that she was going to blow up in the morning, at night came in and fished her out of the water. When her brother, this leader, so-called leader, saw the police coming, of course, what did he do? He hightailed it out of there, leaving her on her own. So they fished her out. They obviously saw the vest, and then she gave up the whole story, told them everything. So the good thing is nothing really happened in that case. For me, the saddest part of this thing was that, of course, they sent the girl back to her house, to her family, to her brother.
Oh, no. So
because that's what they had to do.
Wow. And this is just one of the many cases that you've investigated, that you've written about. And I have to ask you this. We have to go for the news break in about a minute.
Sure.
How were you able to complete your book on the topic that you were writing? My hat is off to you, number one, for bringing this to light, for having the courage and the dedication as a father to write this book. But how did it affect you and, towards your family?
So it was. I was very driven to write it. It was, I want to say, a labor of love, but it's not that I loved the topic. It was something that I felt I had to write about and to educate, first of all, myself, because the topic had been with me for a while. But I learned a lot during the 3.5 years that it took for me from the first, when I started this, to where it actually got published. I learned a tremendous amount. And what I'm expecting or hoping is that my children, some of whom are old enough to read the book, will read the book and have read the book and are learning from this.
Zulfigar, we have got to take my news break. Please stand by. We'll be back on the other side of this break. XO Nation, we're talking about corrupt spirituality has corrupt and tragic results when it comes to children. We'll be back. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone radio show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we get to my guest this hour, Zulfigar Rashid, coming up next, we are going to be talking to the whale whisperer. Now, we have all heard of the horse whisperer, but Patricia Corey is my guest the next hour. She is known worldwide, and lovingly, I might add, as the whale whistler. And in the final hour of tonight's show, I will be joined by my good friend and colleague here at Relmar. Corey Kay is joining us for the X-Zone Tech Zone. We're going to be talking about that big hacking into eBay and what you can do to protect yourself from being hacked. And we'll also be opening up the emails that you've sent to Corey over the last week. That's here in the X-Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Zulfigar Rashid, and he is a gentleman who is he's part of the solution. You know, I've said this many times that there are so many people who want to be a armchair quarterback. They like to say that if they could do this, they would, or this, that, and the other thing. But when push comes to shove, they do nothing. They see injustices and they cross the street, or they turn their back. This man here, our guest this hour, Zulfigar Rashid, is doing something. He's letting the world know what is going on with children. Now, his website is www.zulfigarrashid.com, and he is the author of The Rat Boys of Karlabad. It's a book that explores one particular heinous form of child abuse, and once again, in the name of religion. What is going on in this world today? We have all these different religions, all these different philosophies. Look, it's just not religions that are in countries that are you know, in Asia, the Middle East, or wherever. Look at the Catholic Church, for goodness sake. How many children have been abused by the people that they have been taught throughout their childhood that they should trust? My goodness, they call the priest father. I'm a father. Zulfigar is a father. And we would never, ever think of doing what, all in the name of religion, people are doing to children. How can we help? How can we help eradicate this problem, my friend?
Well, that's a $1 million question. And I think it starts with awareness, with knowing that these things are happening. Mm-hmm. And I would like to think that fundamentally people are good. And when one is aware of something like this, mm-hmm. one would do something. And the something, it's not a question of the scale, it's just anything. So we were talking earlier about a simple example, if you are in a country where if you go to a place and somebody comes to you, a child comes to you begging for money, mm-hmm. instead of giving them money, give them a meal.
Yes.
Because the money will not benefit the child. It will go to their handlers, to the crime rings, to who manage these beggar rings. So there are things that we can do. I try to, whenever I go to a different country, I try to go and look for an organization or an institution like an orphanage or something where you can actually donate something where you know it is again going to benefit the people that are the part of humanity that needs the help.
We are actually talking about organized crime rings that are operating these beggar, what do we call them? Beggar squads? Yeah, I think that's the right terminology.
Yeah.
Beggar squads. That, the kids go out, they do the begging, they bring the money back to these handlers. Now, isn't there something the United Nations can do? Isn't there something that Interpol could do, since this is truly a crime against humanity?
Yes, and again, if you look at the activities, especially from UNICEF, from global organizations as well as local organizations, there are a lot of activities. There's a lot of effort. If you just do a search on, children, organizations helping children, you get a long list of organizations that are helping children. The problem is that it's the good and the bad. So as much good as you can do, there's still the bad that's happening. So in Pakistan, I can give you an example that the government is much, much more actively going after these organized beggary rings. And almost, once a month you see a news article of yet another ring being caught. The problem is that it's like a hydra. You cut off one head and then one other one, it sprouts off somewhere else. So this has to be. This is not a government. Let's say the government can help, but this is more, I think, of a society problem. The awareness of the members of the society is what can help eradicate this. So the example that I was talking to you about, the rat children, it is less the government, it's more the general public that is working against this, that is helping reduce the occurrence of that. And this ties into your point earlier about, not just sitting on the sidelines, reading about it and forgetting about it. It's doing something about it.
Let me ask you something, my friend. Where do you think religion is going wrong?
Okay, so I can. My view is religion is again. I don't think that. Sorry for the correction, but I don't think religion is going wrong. I think it's the people that are, let's say, interpreting religion are interpreting it in some of them not in the right way. I can tell you from where I have some expertise in this in Pakistan, in that area. One of the problems is that we have given religion away to, let's say, the imam or to the experts. I personally believe that religion is simple, and the whole idea of religion is that you don't need an expert to explain to you what religion is. You pick up the book and you read it.
Yeah.
And you should be able to follow that. But what we have done is we have created the experts who tell us what religion is and how it should be done. And when we do that, we give them the power to tell us one thing and then themselves do something else.
Is it possible that in today's society, religion can no longer coexist with us?
Well, I mean, again, this is a personal view. I don't think that I would not agree to that statement.
Okay.
I would say that religion is, the whole idea of religion for me is something that's more than I am. It helps me connect to something bigger. So it's very personal for me. And yes, I have read about the religions, and I'd like to think that I have some information about them. I understand what the ideas behind the religions are, and you will see that I'm sure that you have done so. The religions, I'd say, more or less have the same message.
Yes.
And it's not a bad message; it's a good message. So where does religion go wrong? To your question, I don't think religion goes wrong. I think it's how it's interpreted, and it becomes my interpretation for my benefit. That's where things go wrong. If I say, well, this is how it should be interpreted because in the back of my mind, this is how I benefit from it.
But what I have seen, and this is my my view and my opinion, is that the world has progressed. The world has evolved, but religion hasn't.
Yes, you're right. There has been no, let's say, progress in that manner, and there are various reasons for that. As you know, in Islam, the idea is that the Quran was written for all generations, for all time. So that's kind of the concept behind that. But don't you find it interesting that whenever there is a catastrophe, there is something that's on a massive scale, the first thing that people do is look up to their interpretation or their version of God.
Well, yeah,
Even today.
That is so true. That is so true. However, as I see it, religion is being abused by people in today's society because people use religion as an scapegoat, as their authority to commit wrong in the name of religion. For example, going to the terrorist attacks of 9/11, going to the what happened on the USS Cole, what happened just weeks ago in Nigeria with 200 children being kidnapped. If something goes wrong, God, why have you forsaken me? Well, wait a minute. It wasn't God who who did the forsaking here. You can't blame God for something that mortals have done.
Yes, I agree.
It seems as if as long as you need religion to either justify your acts or to use an scapegoat, that's great. For example, take as I see the right of what is it? Just give me a sec here. Confession. You go into the confessional. You tell your sins to the priest. He tells you to say 10 Hail Marys or whatever, and your sins are forgiven. So what do? You go out again, and that week there you say, all is forgiven. Let's start all over again. There's a problem here. I really think that if in Christianity, for example, if Christ was to come back and he was to go to Times Square because that's where he ended up on his return trip, what would he say? What would any of the religious philosophy icons, those who a religion is based around, what would they say all these years later?
Well, things have gotten from bad to worse and then more worse.
Exactly, my friend. Exactly. So how, in your opinion, do we change this? Can we change it?
That's a very deep question. And I can, for me, it's very important that awareness and education. So, I can give you a specific example. As part of Islam, one of the things that you have to do is by the time that you are 11, 12, or let's say by no more than 14 years old, you have to have read the Quran end to end.
Right.
Now, I've always had a both philosophical and literal problem with that because I have done so. But up until a few years ago, I had no idea what I was reading because the script of Arabic and Urdu is the same. So I can read Arabic, but I would have no idea what that is. It's just like you reading, I don't know if you know German or not or French, but if I read a German book, it's English. I can probably make out the words and spell them out even, but I have no idea what that is. So the point of reading the book without really understanding what it is to me, I just don't see the point of it. So I think understanding religion at a personal level is something that, in my view, will help us, will help humanity. Because the more you study religion, the more you come to the conclusion that the differences are all man-made.
That's right. You see, what I would love to do, I was asked this by a guest a couple of weeks ago. He said, what would you like to see happen in a church? I said, well, what I'd like to see is that we get a large auditorium somewhere. And in that auditorium, we have a service. But my service, as I would see it, you would have a priest, a rabbi, an imam. You would have a Buddhist monk. You would have everyone who wanted to participate have a member of their clergy there, so that we could better understand each other's religious philosophy. I think that the majority of problems in the world today when it comes to religion is a lack of understanding and a lack of respect.
And again, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that that's a splendid idea. And I can't say no more. I completely agree with you.
When I was a young boy, I was raised in Montreal, in the multicultural center of Montreal called Park Extension. I was very fortunate because when I went to Barclay Elementary School on Wiseman, you had every ethnic group in your classroom. You went to school with the Hebrew kids, you went to school with the Greeks, you went to school with the South African kids, you went to school with the Pakistani kids, you went to school with the Indian kids. They were your friends. You learned about them. You learned about their culture. You learned about their religious philosophies. You shared holidays. You shared food. You shared traditions. And I think this is what the world is missing today, is the respect and the sharing of ideas and the sharing of culture.
I agree with you. I think you said religion has not progressed. I think there is more of a gap probably between, yes, the humanity and religion.
Yeah.
And part of it is because, again, we have given control of religion to a group of people. And we are too busy with our, iPhones and our Facebooks and our Twitter and to worry about that. But I think that taking the time, and it will take effort. It's not something that just happens.
My friend, I hate to do this, but we've got to take our
sorry.
final break. This is a great conversation. We'll have to have you back on again in the future because this is a topic that needs more than 1 hour. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break. Please stand by, Exonation. With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.matstein.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, After the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Exonation, welcome back. This has been 1 hour that has gone by so fast, so very fast. Zulfigar Rashid is my guest this hour. His website is www. All right, now, do you have your pencils and paper ready, Exonation? It's www.zulfigarrashid.com, and he is the author of The Rat Boys of Karalabad. Do me a favor, Exonation, around the world, go to that website. Find out about this gentleman. Check out what he is writing about and talking about. Do something about it. Whether it's contacting a member of your local government, maybe you know somebody who's abusing a child, and maybe this hour has given you the inspiration to call the authorities. Make a positive difference, for goodness sake. All it takes is one person to start that wheel. We can make a change. We can make a difference. Besides, whoever allowed people to say, instead of we the people, I the person, you have the power to make things happen. You really do. Don't be an armchair quarterback. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Zulfigar, my friend, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for bringing this horrific crime to the public so that we can do something about it. And what would you like to leave the Exonation with tonight?
I would just like to reiterate the points that you just made. A person can make a difference.
Yes.
It takes some effort. It takes some work, and it's worth it. It's worth it when you see that difference, when you help somebody. So you see something happening, do something about it. Intrinsically, I believe we know what is right and what is wrong. And if something is wrong, do something about it. Whatever is in your power, go do it.
What's next for you? What are you going to be doing in the future, in the near future, when it comes to the abuse of children that's going on?
So I will, of course, continue to write about it in my blogs.
Right.
And I am also now working on a subsequent novel on the same topic.
Good for you.
So that's going to be another couple of years effort, but I think it'll be, again, worth it. And as long as the message gets out, I'll be happy.
Your blog, is it accessible from your website?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. So, Exonation, go to Zulfigar's website, read the blog, tell your friends to visit. Come on, guys. This is the day of social media networking. Let's let the world know what's going on. We can do that. We've done it before. You, Exonation, have done things with me. I've seen you, the power of the Exonation, move mountains before. Let's move a couple of mountains this time as well. My friend, I want to thank you once again for joining us. Great talking to you. Continued success. And I look forward to the next time you join us back here in the X Zone. Until then, safe travels.
Thank you very much, Rob. It was a pleasure to be on the show.
Take care, my friend. Exonation, once again, Zulfigar Rashid has been my guest. And his website is www.zulfigarrashid.com. We've been talking about the corrupted spirituality that has had tragic results and has destroyed so many children. It's a shame. It's a crime. Let's do something about it. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Now, If you'd like to send us an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV, and our website where you can listen to past shows at xzoneradiotv.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.